This video is a sample from the Secret Guitar Teacher Interactive course, The 5 Main Elements of Music. Part 1. Keynote Orientation, First Position. Now that you've learned and started to drill the minor blues scale patterns, there are a number of further steps you will want to start taking to develop your lead guitar playing skills. A common mistake is to try and start working on all these things simultaneously. This makes the process hard work. It is like trying to fight a battle on too many fronts. It tends to dilute your resources too much. We have discovered over half a century of teaching guitar that there is a more efficient path to take. The trick is to start working on each phase of development in a certain order. For example, by the time you have worked for a few hours on orientation exercises, your ability to create phrases and licks will naturally have improved without your having put any attention on those skills specifically. Your speed and fluency will also have improved considerably all by itself. So, let's get going on our first orientation drill. First, we need to firm up our ability to name all the notes on the top and bottom strings of the guitar. Here are some tips to help you do this efficiently. Start with just the natural notes, ignoring the sharps and flats. Notice where the notes fall relative to the fretboard markings. Fretboard markings do differ slightly from one guitar to the next, but generally frets 5, 7, 9, 15 and 17 all have single dots, and frets 12 and 24 on some guitars have double dots. Many, but not all, guitars have a single dot at frets 3 and 19 too. Notes G, A and B always fall on dotted frets. C, D and F on unmarked frets. And E, of course, falls on the double dotted frets as well as the open strings. For Europeans and military folk in particular, notice that the correlation between the high and low frets is similar to working with a 24-hour clock. We have the note F at fret 1, for example, as in 1 p.m, and at fret 13, as in 1300 hours, etc. An age-old trick used by stage magicians to perform incredible feats of memorizing can help you quickly memorize these natural notes by aligning them with the fret numbers. The trick is to think of an association between the numbers and the note names. For example, F equals 1. So F could be Formula 1, motor racing. G equals 3, as in G3, mobile phone network system. A5, continental paper size, etc. It doesn't matter what associations you make, but they need to be real to you. If they're a bit silly or funny, then so much the better. Another example, what happens when you are naughty at school? You get kept behind in detention. So D, 10, shun. So D equals 10. That's an example of an association. Later on this section of the course, we'll get you to carry out some assignments that will lay these foundations in place. Once you have the natural notes thoroughly learnt, it is a simple matter to find the sharp and flat notes. work from the natural notes and simply move up a step for sharps or down a step for flats. Here we show you how to locate G sharp and G flat from the note G natural. To be able to work on the drill that graduates you from this lesson, you now need to remember that the first position of the minor blues scale always starts on the key note. Notice also that the key notes in this position form the E-shaped octave pattern from the caged system. To graduate from this lesson, you'll need to demonstrate that you can quickly find the first position in a series of different keys. Here's a demonstration of the drill. For this drill, we've made a special backing track that features a simple 12-bar blues that changes key at the end of each verse. The keys we go through are those that I think you're most likely to encounter when jamming with other blues or rock musicians. They are E, G, A, C and D. The idea of this drill is just to prove that you can find and use the first position blues scale patterns from each of these keys. We're not really interested in exactly what you actually do with these notes in terms of phrasing or lick formation. We're just looking to see that we can select the notes from the correct scale patterns. So, as a relatively inexperienced player, you might just do something like this. G. That'd be perfectly fine. You found the right group of notes to play for each key as it's changed. For this drill, the first key is E, and this is something of a special case, as it has two first position locations that each require different fingering. The first one of these that we learn is usually the open position. In this case, the numbers in this diagram show you both the fingering and the fret numbers. So that's fingered like this: 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0, 3, 0. But this pattern repeats at the 12th fret using these fret numbers. Played with these fingers. Like this. the other keys, there are no open strings involved in this drill. So only the movable pattern is used. That's the one fingered with all 4 fingers. But notice that in most cases there are at least 2 fretboard positions where the first position can be used in each key. In G, for example, we can play it at fret 3, or at fret 15. In the key of A, we can play it at fret 5, or 17. When we come to the key of C, many of us can only access one first position pattern, and that's here at fret 8. If we try and access the one at fret 20, we've got here 17, 19, 20. You see we run out of frets, unless of course you've got a 24 fret guitar. Similarly, in the key of D, we can definitely only access one first position, here at fret 10. If I try and find fret 22, it's just not there. That's 19. What we got here? 17, 19, 20, 21. 20. Oh yes, I can start it, but I can't get any further with it. When you start working on this drill, begin by just trying to access one of the first position patterns for each key. But as soon as you're on top of that, have a go at finding 2 positions for each key, 2 first position patterns for each key, where your fretboard length allows this. For more experienced players, careful listening to the chord changes should help you form more musically meaningful phrases. And if you have a few blues licks well learnt, then it's fine to practice those as part of this drill. We'd expect you to sound a little more like this, perhaps. Key of E. G. But for the purposes of graduating from this course, all that is required is for you to demonstrate that you can access the notes from each first position pattern that's available to you for each of those key changes that we go through on the backing track. Now on the first run through on the backing track, I put on a voiceover to announce the key changes as they happen. But after the first run through, you're on your own and you're expected to listen for when those key changes occur. And perhaps to memorize the sequence of changes E, G, A, C and D. Good luck and have fun. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you'd really like to maximize your potential as a guitar player, click on the link in the description below to the Secret Guitar Teacher site. Here you can sign up for a 30-day trial free of charge and without obligation. We won't even ask you for your credit card number.